Throughout the reading of this material, I have briefly laid out some comments and interjections in between, with no real pauses or identifications as to whether I'm reading the material or expressing a comment in between. Regardless of that, it doesn't particularly matter. Nevertheless, that is what I'll be doing, is interjecting some personal comments in between the reading of this material. To continue on the atheism and conclusion of the atheism portion of this section, we continue, what does atheism imply about our relationship to the causative force, or what religions call God? Atheism says there is no relationship because there is no causative force. This would be the ultimate denial of God or a causative force. And of course, that would have its repercussions, because I would assume, being a believer, that this would indeed affect God's apprehension of those particular humans that would be in denial of him, her, it, or she. I make those general distinctions so that the patriarchal male pronoun isn't necessarily the only one in use these days. But generally speaking, in the biblical text concerning the Western view of God as a father, we can use the term he as well. Although it's recognized as well that God, in its pure essence, is genderless. So with that being said, no relationship. Your comfort comes from the knowledge and belief that you are not alone in this state of short-term hopelessness. Everyone around you faces the same existence. You are alone without a causative force for 100 years. In terms of relative spans of existence, a life is insignificant when measured against the life of the universe. Under atheism, you have no significance. To me, that does not make coherent sense. No significance generates all types of rational excuses for antisocial and perhaps sociopathic and violent behaviors. Defining the existence of a causative force in order to elevate behavior is important. So we have ethics. But just because we do so does not make it true. On the other hand, defining the non-existence of a causative force, or God, does not necessarily make that true either. So what is one to do? One could ignore the problem. One could ignore the questions regarding what the universe is, what the significance of the universe is, what we are, what our significance is, but ignoring the problem will not make it go away. In a sense, this is what atheism does. It ignores the questions we have always been asking or seeking answers to. Has the search for answers been unproductive? Hardly. As we have seen, what we believe to be true in terms of our religious faith, scientific observations, or philosophical logic affects our behavior towards each other. A turn the other cheek philosophy is a good one to have. Over time, we have found stronger and stronger foundations upon which to rationalize our increasing perception of the value of the individual. Hinduism, Judaism, Buddhism, Christianity, Islam, ontology, and modern science have all added to improving the conditions under which souls journey. Although that could be argued, now it is time to add another element. We have reached 2000 AD. Hence, we can define ourselves in such a way as to include all others in our universe and in any other universe that may exist, providing there is life out there somewhere. Is what we would call alien life. We can rationalize a universe Magna Carta. Conclusion. What characteristic does atheism assign to the causative force? Atheism asserts that Russell is correct. God has no beginning. But what of the causative force? Is there a causative force then? What lies beyond her? And for that matter, who created her? And doesn't the idea that the causative force might have a creator imply that the causative force is not truly all-present, all-powerful, and all-knowledgeable? And doesn't this prove that the causative force is not the causative force after all? There is no denying these arguments and questions. We are by no means done with atheism yet. The atheist, however, has hit the target but missed the mark. The mark is not what is the causative force or our causative force. The mark is not what might possibly lie beyond the causative force. The mark is what is our causative force. And what does our mean? Our does not mean exclusively human. Our means all beings within the universe or universes, whatever is the case. And what does the causative force refer to? The causative force refers to the creator, not of humankind, but rather to the creator of our universe, all universes, and what beings lie within. What lies beyond God is irrelevant at this time. Although we can speculate, we must first understand what significance we have. If, as St. Anselm suggested, quote, an argument for God, the conception of a necessary being to the existence of that being, unquote, is correct, then the concept of the causative force being omnipresent beyond herself is not of importance to us at this point. Omnipresence must be understood to apply to our personal essence, our existence in this physical reality. We have no idea of what lies beyond the causative force, nor do we have any logic to apply to the beginning, end, concepts, and the causative force herself. Although I would posit that the Holy Scriptures do indeed imply an alpha and omega. If it is not at this point necessary to understand such a relationship, omnipresence, to what may lie beyond the causative force, has no significance to us. We can, however, speculate, but omnipresence of the causative force relative to us does. This then is what is being referred to as omnipresence. Omnipresence refers to the size, if you will, of God, of the causative force relative to us and to our universe.